Ever wake up frozen, eyes wide open, watching a shadow shape move at the edge of your room, or hear steady footsteps cross the floor above you when you know you're the only one home? Ever placed your keys on the counter only for them to vanish seconds later? What about spotting a total stranger in public, not being able to shake the feeling that you know them from somewhere or someplace? These are disturbing everyday occurrences people can't explain. A lot of people have described waking up in the middle of the night and realizing they can't move. They're fully awake, their eyes are open, but their body feels frozen. And while they're stuck like that, they notice someone or something standing nearby, usually a dark shape, like a shadow with a human outline. Could be at the foot of your bed, could be at the corner of your room, or sitting on that creepy rocking chair you inherited from grandma. This happens during what's called sleep paralysis. It's when your mind wakes up before your body does, leaving you aware but kind of paralyzed for a bit. It doesn't always come with hallucinations, but when it does, it is downright creepy. You may also have auditory hallucinations, like hearing footsteps, breathing, whispers, and on top of all that, you'll usually feel pressure on your chest as if someone is sitting on you. Glad to say I haven't experienced this in a long time, but when I was a teenager, it was pretty routine, and I would see stuff sometimes. There have been studies that have found a lot of people see things because parts of the brain that sense movement and proximity misfire, basically tricking you into thinking someone's there. It's like you're on that line between the dream world and reality. You can't move, you can't scream. Every instinct is telling you there's something in the room with you. I mean, it's no wonder so many old legends talk about demons showing up in people's rooms in the middle of the night and sitting on their chests. One of the most common things people have talked about, basically ever since people started telling each other stories really, is hearing footsteps when no one is there. Today you mainly hear about this phenomenon happening at supposedly haunted locations, right? But people report it a lot in day-to-day life too. Usually it's creaking or even clearer paced steps across the floor above you or down the hallway, up the stairs. That's the worst. There are practical explanations for this, old wood floors expanding, air pressure shifts. You could have animals in your attic or just a straight up stranger living in your house. That's been known to happen, but sometimes these things don't have a clear explanation. There are those cases when the sound is just too specific and you think, those were footsteps up there. I know they were. A slow, deliberate pattern of steps, even a change in direction sometimes, but you check every room and there's nothing. This happened to me recently. I was staying at a friend's house, and they're always hearing weird footsteps from above them. And one day we heard something that was so clear, and I was like, I gotta check. I grabbed a ladder from the basement, went up because it sounded like it was in the attic, and I went up there and there was just nothing. Keep in mind, this is a detached house. It's not like it's connected and you're hearing the neighbors. So, I don't know. It's weird. Here's another campfire story trope. Doors opening by themselves, chairs that shift when no one's nearby, lights turning off at random, basically objects moving on their own. Nowadays, TikTok and YouTube are full of footage like this. Is it all unexplained or even genuine? No, but not all of these are hoaxes either. A door moving slightly can obviously happen when there's a breeze. It can also be uneven flooring and stuff like that. But what about when there is no clear explanation? Again, at that same friend's house, I think it's haunted. I don't know. I don't really believe in ghosts, but I do know I can't explain everything. Sometimes she'll say, even when the door is closed, she'll go to open it, and the lock will shift, almost like someone's actively trying to keep her from coming out. I don't know. It's a creepy house, I'll say that. You'll hear this one a lot too, even from people who've never believed in the paranormal. Random chills, and I mean ones that really seem to get under your skin. Out of nowhere, the air drops cold and suddenly you have goosebumps. Maybe you'll even smell something too, like perfume or tobacco, for no obvious reason. People who are into the paranormal will probably tell you that these cold spots or sudden scents are caused when a ghost is nearby because they drain energy and heat from the air around them. Ghost hunters usually bring temperature readers or thermal cameras to track this kind of thing, and if they see a big temperature drop out of nowhere, they think it could mean something supernatural is going on. This next one's always frustrating. You're out somewhere, a coffee shop, train station, whatever. Your eyes glance over someone. Then you take a beat and you look at them again, and you're like, do I know that person? She looks like, I don't even know who she looks like, but I feel like I've met her before. You're almost certain you've seen this person, but there's no real reason you should have. The brain even tries to fill in who they are. Did you see them at the gym? Did you take a class with them years ago? Are they an old coworker? It's strange, Because, I mean, you'd think you'd remember if you knew someone from work, even if it was years ago. And you wouldn't think you'd remember someone you just saw like once or twice at the gym randomly. So why do we have this nagging feeling like you've met? Well, this comes from your fusiform gyrus, the part of your brain that processes faces. Sometimes it misfires, picking up features that seem familiar and tricking your mind into thinking you recognize a random person on the street. Neuroscientists call it a false sense of familiarity, and it's actually pretty common. It's the same system that helps us recognize friends instantly, but occasionally there can be a glitch. I didn't know that until today. So you set your keys on the counter, you walk away for a minute. When you come back, they're gone. You search everywhere, your pockets, all your drawers. Where the hell did your keys go? How many of us have been in this situation before? I mean, it happens all the time. And even weirder, occasionally you'll hear people tell you that hours or sometimes days later, whatever they misplaced is suddenly back exactly where they remembered leaving it. Sounds insane, but it happens, and unless you're experiencing the early stages of dementia or you have carbon monoxide poisoning, it's hard to come up with a satisfying explanation other than just faulty memory, which isn't really satisfying. It's been documented in memory studies, but not completely explained. But a lot of researchers think stress and routine can make your brain sometimes autofill things, like assuming you placed something down when you actually didn't. But you've done it so many times that your brain just sort of tricks you into thinking you did this time. Still doesn't account for stories where multiple people saw the item vanish or reappear, though. I have another story about this one. I've told you this one years ago, but I was staying at my ex-girlfriend's place, my girlfriend at the time, and we had a pillow, a very recognizable one because it had a band logo on it. Anyway, one day this pillow goes missing, and we search up and down that apartment for that pillow. We look everywhere, and we just assume it's gone somehow, right? And then months go by, and she sends me a text with an image, and the pillow is sitting right back on the couch where it was. She'd just gone down to do the laundry, comes back, and all of a sudden, it's there. And now, obviously, what I think happened is someone came into that apartment and took that pillow and then brought it back, which is kind of worse, but it's also like, yeah, that's one of the worst things that's ever happened to me. I mean, I love that story, but it is, and other weird stuff happened in that apartment too. We would hear footsteps above, even though nobody lived up there. We once found a whole bunch of pictures she had hanging on her wall. They all fell off in like a perfect stack. We found a pan sitting in the middle of the kitchen perfectly too. That's kind of a bunch of stuff on this list. Footsteps, objects moving, items disappearing and reappearing. Creepy stuff. Now, most people get deja vu once in a while, that weird flash where something completely ordinary suddenly feels like it's already happened before. It's not just like a weird moment for everyone though. Some describe it like reality briefly glitching, and some have said that momentary deja vu we often get can go on for minutes or even hours. I'm pretty skeptical about the hours. Minutes, maybe. I've come close for sure. It's always unsettling because it's not dramatic, but it is eerie how exact deja vu is. Only you just don't know what that exact really is. You try to compare the current moment to something that may have happened earlier in the day or the week, but you just can't think of anything. It's just the current moment. You feel like it's already happened, but at the same time, you're experiencing it for the first time. Scientists think deja vu happens when the brain's memory circuits misfire. The hippocampus and temporal lobe, which handle recognition and memory, get confused and treat the present moment as a remembered one. But even with a logical explanation, people still report moments that feel too exact to brush off. You hear a friend say a sentence word for word, but along with that, the background noise, the way the light hits the room, your own reaction, it's all eerily familiar. This is one of the oldest, most primal feelings we have, the feeling of being watched. You're alone in an office, or you're walking through an empty parking lot at night, heaven forbid the forest. Every cell in your body tells you someone is looking at you. You quickly turn your head only to see nothing. And then you tell yourself, and of course there was nothing. I'm being paranoid. The thing is, we're wired for this, to sense the gaze of others, or at least be aware that someone could be watching us. It's a survival instinct passed down from the dawn of time, and we often think people are watching us even when they're not. Research in 2013 published in Current Biology found that people have a natural bias to think someone's gaze is directed at them, even when the eyes are hard to see, like behind sunglasses or partially averted. Your brain usually just assumes someone is looking at you. It's not a vanity thing, I mean it can be, but it's really just your brain being alert. That's why that gut feeling of being watched can feel so real even when no one is there. I'm lucky enough to have never experienced this one, at least while not under the influence. Missing time. This is one of the most chilling things people will report because it messes with the most basic thing we rely on, time. Say you're driving home from work, fully alert, and you glance at the clock. The next thing you clearly remember is glancing at the clock again, but somehow a full hour has passed. You've covered 20 miles, but you have no memory of the journey. Psychologists have documented this as a form of dissociative amnesia. It's triggered by extreme stress or chronic fatigue, where the brain just skips recording events. But people will often say there's no feeling of having fallen asleep or drifted off. There's just this mysterious gap. The unsettling part is realizing that your brain was piloting your body, carrying out complex actions like driving and navigating traffic, while your conscious mind was seemingly not involved. And finally, we have one we kind of touched on earlier, but I want to go into more detail on phantom scents. And I don't mean common, easy to explain stuff like, a barbecue smell. That's easily explainable. I mean you're sitting at your office desk or you're standing in your kitchen and you suddenly get hit with this vivid, distinct smell, a specific old cologne your dad used to use maybe, or you're suddenly reminded of your childhood friend's apartment you haven't been to in decades, and you realize it's because a scent has hit your nose. You know that smell, it's connected to a person, a memory, but there's absolutely no source for it in the room, at least not from what you can tell. Medically, this is called phantosmia, or a smell hallucination. Could be caused by a sinus or nasal issue, head trauma, migraines, epilepsy, but sometimes it happens for no clear reason at all. All that said, I've been your host, James. I'll catch you, yes, you specifically, in the next video.